Good evening. My name is Vince Noblet, President of the Speedway Town Council. Today is January 11th, the first meeting of the new year 2021. I want to start my introduction. On my far right is Eileen Fisher.
Good evening.
On my direct right is Councilor David Lindsay.
Good evening.
My far left is Councilor Gary Pettigo.
Good evening.
And also I want to get my direct left is Gary Rakes, Councilor Gary Rakes.
Good evening.
Vice President Gary Rakes. And the audience, the treasurer, Jacob Whitesdale.
Good evening.
And our attorney, Bob Clutter. Would everybody stand for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2 on the agenda is minutes for the December 28th meeting. These minutes have been submitted to the council, and they will be accepted as submitted if there's no changes. Hearing none, they're approved as submitted. Next item is ratification of the fire monitoring contract for the 5300 Crawfordsville Road. Tim, are you handling that one?
Good evening, council. The contract in your packet, we needed to get moving on the fire monitoring services for the new town hall, 5300 Crawfordsville Road, in order to get the elevators up and running. So Bob Clutter, our attorney, has reviewed that, and this is basically for the monitoring service, which is $50 a month. Everything's fine. We had to go ahead and sign it so that we could get the working numbers in place, and we just need council to ratify the contract and with just a motion and a second.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make the motion that we approve the contract for the ratification of the fire monitoring for 5300 Crawfordsville Road.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion concerning the contract? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is the approval of on-call services agreement. Jacob?
Sure.
You have
Thanks, President. Yeah, we have renewal of 3 on-call services agreements. These are agreements that we do every year. They just cover kind of smaller projects for engineering services. So our departments, primarily street, water, and sewer, can get basic work done quickly. All the agreements, and these are there's 3 that we're approving tonight. One is for Commonwealth Engineering. Another is for Keyser Consulting, and then the other is for Wessler Engineering. They all have a maximum of $25,000 on projects. All are for a 1-year term, and as I mentioned before, these are all renewals. We have agreements in place that expired at the end of 2020, and the departments wish to renew those for 2021.
So we received notification from them that they're keeping the same cost for this year?
Some of them have some adjustments for hourly rates that they just changed over to their 2021 fee schedule hourly, but they're the same cap limits on projects.
All right, I need a motion for the approval of on-call contracts.
I'll make a motion that we approve the on-call service agreements as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion for Jacob concerning the on-call contracts? Hearing none, is there any motion, anybody from the public concerned about this? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Next is the appointment of Speedway boards and commissions. I want to take this opportunity to open the floor for any appointments of outstanding boards.
Mr. President, for the school board, I'd like to nominate Tom Smith.
I move that we close the nominations.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
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 Okay, any of those opposed? Okay, any other appointments?
Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Mike Allen to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay,
And I would like to nominate Bill Jones and ask for, we close the nominations for the boarding, or BZA.
I'll second.
okay, you got a second for the close?
Second.
David got it.
All right.
Okay, and so all those in favor of the two nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is the claims and utility adjustments. Yeah, Jacob, it's all yours.
Thank you. Submitted for your review and questions are the claims representing those that we received and paid out from December 26th of 2020 through January 8th of 2021. And I'd be happy to take any questions or would appreciate your approval.
Mr. President, I make a motion we approve the claims as presented by our clerk treasurer this evening.
Second?
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. There's any discussion from the public or the council? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries 5-0.
No utility adjustments for this time period.
Fantastic.
I know. Only report I have is we've started working on all of the year-end reporting information. Some of that comes up pretty quickly. We have some things due to the state before the end of the year. And a lot of that financial information we provide to the state that ultimately gets reported onto Gateway, which is the open door transparency portal that the state provides. So all our financial information goes out there. And then our office continues to operate primarily remotely. We're still able to do everything that we did previously, just not taking appointments in the office. But we're still able to get everything done. Again, feel free to call our office. We're still issuing permits, answering questions about billing, all the things that we've always done. That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Report from department supervisors. Let's start off with Tim. Tim, you do realize that there's an important game tonight.
Yes, I actually, do
Okay, all right.
I have a reputation or something? Actually, just a couple quick updates. I'm spending most of my time over at Town Hall. We're getting to the crunch time over there, 5300 Crawfordsville Road. Everything's coming along nicely. It's going to be a beautiful facility. We're hoping to start moving employees in end of the month, beginning of February, and take our time through February to kind of move all our departments over there that are moving there. So we're excited about that, and will be more to come in the next couple months. Besides that, they did break ground just today on the first project out at Founders Square. Unfortunately, corporate from that company has not released the press release acknowledgement of that yet, so that is forthcoming. We expect that probably sometime this week. So we're excited to see the first project outside of infrastructure working out there, and we anticipate crew car wash as well to break ground in the not too near future. So we have a couple other projects, including one that was just getting finalized with the developer today. and we look forward to being able to announce those as well. So there's going to be a lot of activity out there this year.
Well,
Thank you.
Good.
I see the dirt piles are starting to go down at that point in time.
A few of them, yes. Absolutely.
Can you let the public know where we're at on status of 1300 block?
Yeah, so we're just in negotiations right now. So the developer has released architecture, their architect to work on renderings and drawings. We have traded red lines of the economic development agreement. We're hoping to have that done in the next couple weeks. Just got a few final things to work through where we got to get everyone into a meeting, but we anticipate having that economic development agreement put together within the month, and then there's a bunch of ancillary documents that go with that. But in the meantime, the developer is working on parallel tracks with architecture, construction costs, as well as they'll get into any replatting and everything they have to do, all the public processes, if you will, for approval. So
Good.
that's going to take them a little while, but we still want to see that break ground here in the first half of 2021.
Great. And any other questions for Tim?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jim,
Good evening.
good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
First of all, the department's moving forward. You know, the body-worn cameras, we spent this last week, the officers being trained, how they operate, you know, how to use them. And also at the same time, they were retrofitting the cars to put the necessary equipment so that when you open the doors, turn your lights on, you know, it'll basically light your camera up. And if you want to know more details, maybe next meeting, we'll have more time to talk about it, but
Are they fully operational now, Chief, or are you still?
Yes, they're to the point now to where we're going to need a little time for these guys to get used to them. You know, they just did the classroom training, so we need them to get out in the field and, you know, before we tell the public that, you know, we have body-worn cameras, we want to make sure that, we know how they work and they work the way they're supposed to. So that'll be a good thing, and and most of these guys are looking forward. The training went great. They sent in instructors, and it's a little bit complicated, but at the same time, when you pull your gun from the holster, when you open your doors, you turn your lights, even if you can't take a nap anymore, because if you go that way, it's going to send an alert off because it thinks you're down. So naps are out.
oh, man.
So anyway, number two, we received a $60,000 grant from from the Indiana Justice Commission. That grant we will use to buy what's considered a virtual training program for firearms. Some of you have seen the shoot, don't shoot in the past. This it's gone unbelievable in terms of, how much more they can do and what they do with, with these virtual reality. And, it'll be a real improvement to our training for firearms. So that $65,000 grant obviously will put the equipment in the new building, and, it's going to be a major, major accomplishment, for our training effort. Lastly, I got to mention Sandy and the fact that she retired after 35 years. I sent you kind of how we feel about it. She's going to be missed a lot. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure she leaves a paper trail behind her.
Yeah, it's taken about 6 of us to try to figure out how, you don't miss something till you lose it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I like having that council president who acknowledges the big game tonight.
Hey, I'm just giving us a goal.
Good evening and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2021, I hope
Yeah.
we can get into a little bit better times. Along those lines, I wanted to inform you that our department has started vaccinations, and 4 or 5 of us have already had our second vaccination because we're all healthcare providers and EMTs. We were able to do that in phase one. Want to encourage the public to also, when they have the opportunity, unless there's some type of medical issue, to really help by seeking out and being vaccinated. I have had people call and ask about, vaccinations, and I refer them to the Indiana Department of Health. Their website's pretty informative. I know both of my parents were able to just contact and do it by their zip code, and they started theirs this week because they're both, over 80, and they've had no ill effects. All of our guys that have even been through both have just had the minor things that you've seen on the news, nothing major, no major reactions. So glad for that. At the end of this month, our department, Public Safety Medical, is still going to do our physicals on their site. A lot of distancing and good health practices that they're doing, but it's very important for our guys to get their annual physicals. We start our blood work at the end of January, and we'll go the first and second week of February for our physicals. We're moving forward with plan and review, construction meetings with John and Tim and Rob on Founder Square, and getting all of those people what they need from a fire standpoint and getting approved, and so they can move forward doing some C of Os. And then the American Fire Grants Program just announced reopening for 2021. And over the last 4 years, we've gotten a grant every year of some form, well over $300,000 when you add them all up. So Chris and I are in the process of kind of evaluating. A lot of times you can get an idea. We get ours through the Marion County Chiefs Association. We all work together to kind of think of the things we can ask for that are similar, so that we can all get a piece of that pie. And we'll move forward with that. But other than that, just looking forward to trying to get back to some form of normalcy for 2021. And thank you guys for leading during a hard year. I know it wasn't easy, and I really appreciate all of my guys stepping up and doing the best job that they can, even with some of the issues that we've had come up with health and family members and those things. So if you guys don't have any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Tammy?
Hello.
Hi.
Just a couple things. Basketball's still going on. We've got 4 more weeks. The girls and then the boys 3rd, 4th have already finished. So we're the boys 5th, 6th, what we have 4 more weeks on. It's going well. And then I also wanted to announce that our phase 1 of our Leonard Park improvement projects have completed. That was the lights for the Leonard East Ball Diamond. So those are up, and we're real excited about that. The old lights were very old, dangerous. The poles were rotting. We actually had one bar of lights had broke off this summer, so it was much needed, and we're excited about having those working now. Also, our Phase 2 project is in the planning stage right now, so for the continued improvements in Leonard Park. Not exactly sure what's going to be next, but we've got tennis courts, bathrooms, some upgrades to the shelters, and ADA compliant access. And then on kind of a fun note, I wanted to invite people to go to a Facebook page that I created. It's called Tammy's Axolotl Adventure. Axolotl is AXOLOTL. And they are little aquatic salamanders. They're pets that we have, and they had eggs. And so I'm sharing the adventure of these eggs, which we had them hatch yesterday. Some of them started hatching. So I'm updating pictures, videos, all sorts of fun educational things about them. I've got teachers following it. They're sharing it with their classes. So I just wanted to open up that, just something fun, educational, something different. There's not a whole lot we can all get out and do, so maybe that's something people can look forward to looking at each evening. That's all I have.
Again, please.
I'm sorry?
Can you spell that again, please?
Sure. It's Tammy's Axolotl, AXOLOTL. SOLOTL adventure. Yep,
And thank you very much.
yep.
Good evening. Happy New Year. Welcome to the President's Chair.
Oh, thank you.
I'll start off with the waterworks. They report that they've had 4 water main breaks so far this year. And even though it hasn't been real cold, what happens is it gets cold, freezes and thaws, and then the pipe will move underground and cause these breaks. So they've had 4 of those. That in mind, they wanted to remind the residents that when the temperature gets down to 28 degrees or lower, they recommend that you make sure you've got your sink cabinet doors open, of course your heat on, of course, and then maybe have your faucets dripping a little bit just to prevent your lines from freezing. And they're recommending like 5 drops or so per hour, or per minute, I mean. Lastly, they say they pumped a little over 80 million gallons of groundwater last month. On the street department, they're concentrating their efforts in 3 areas right now. They're picking up Christmas trees. They work weather events whenever those occur. And then this is a time when they can get a lot of their maintenance, equipment maintenance done. On the wastewater end, phosphorus update, the phosphorus process, the treatment process is complete. We were required to start meeting the new phosphorus limit. We've never had a phosphorus limit in our permit before, so it was brand new. We were required to start meeting that in December, and I'm happy to report that we are doing that. So it's working out well. Last month, we treated and recycled 117 million gallons of water. And finally, the last thing, flushable wipes. They're not flushable. So, even though it says it on the label, these quote flushable wipes can cause a lot of problems. And with the pandemic, we've noticed that we've had a lot more of those. And they can get into the sewer system and cause clogs, blockages, which in the severe part, then you could have raw sewage maybe coming up out of manholes when those lines get plugged up. The other problem is that we've got several lift stations in town, and those things will get in these pumps and they'll clog these pumps up and then cause a backup in the lift stations. And we are experiencing a little bit of that trouble with one of the lift stations. So please throw them in the trash. Don't flush them. That's all I have.
Norm, I'm not sure how big the issue is or how big of a problem it is, but I wonder whether it makes sense to put something in our utility bill to our residents and other users.
Well, that would be great. Also, I posted something on our website, so if you go to the wastewater page on the town's website, I've posted some more information there also.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norm.
Kelly?
Hello. As you know, we would typically be planning for State of the Town presentation in February. With COVID concerns this year, it's not going to be possible to have our larger in-person event that we would typically have. Instead, SCTV and I will be working with the council, community partners, department heads, and putting together a video production that will be able to air both on the cable station as well as our YouTube channels. We'll have all our traditional speeches and presentations involved, and we hope to make it even more entertaining than it normally is. So hopefully we will have a date on that soon for you of when you'll be able to view that online, and we hope everyone takes a moment to go and see what we've been working on for the last year and what's coming up. Over the next couple months, as Tim said, we'll start to see transitioning over into the new building at Lyndhurst and Crawfordsville. As those dates become more final and we know for sure when we'll have staff in which location, I'll be posting on our website as well as our social media. So in the next couple months, as you're preparing to do business with the town, you might check those places out, give us a call if you need to. We're going to do our best to try to make it a smooth transition. But I just want to give you a heads up to start watching for those messages on those channels. We have had a lot of questions at both Town Hall and in my office about the town planner calendars that are typically sent out every year. That's actually a partnership between the company Town Planner and the Speedway Chamber of Commerce. This year, the company did not get enough sponsors to send out the Speedway calendar, so you will not be getting those calendars in the mail. We do not have any at Town Hall or the Annex. Unfortunately, for the first time in I believe over 40 years, you will have to buy a calendar this year. So hopefully we'll see them come back next year and be a little bit stronger with the COVID regulations being up and everything. So we'll do what we can for 2021. And finally, I'm trying to make this as quick as possible because sports.
No, you're fine. We're ahead of schedule. We're good.
I can
Worried
skip
about
this
Tim.
part. I just wanted to say thank you to David for his service as president last year. We had a very interesting year, and he had to deal with a lot of phone calls from me at random days of the week, and he put up with me quite well. So I just wanted to thank you for your service last year and congratulate you. You made it through 2020. And Vince, I look forward to bugging you just as much, if not more. So
So do I.
thank you.
Kelly, appreciate it.
Okay, the next report from council members, Gary Pettigo.
Just a couple of quick things. Number one, I'd like to piggyback on Chief Fishburne's comment relative to the vaccine. If and when you become eligible to get the vaccine, I would encourage you to do it. I'm told that it's about a 30-day wait or so between the first shot and the second. And David, you were telling me you just experienced kind of a sore arm the next day. So far, so good. I think the side effects for the vast majority of people that have taken the vaccine so far have been very minimal, if any. And then number two, if you're a business or a homeowner here in town that flies the United States flag, please, if you have the opportunity, make sure it's at half-mast through the end of the day on Wednesday in honor of the two Capitol Police officers that passed away last Wednesday. Well, one was Wednesday, and I think the other one wasn't until Friday, but a result of last Wednesday. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilor Eileen.
I have not much more to add to that, except to welcome you, Vince, in your new seat, and wish you the best for 2021, and hopefully it'll be much different than what David had to go through, for sure, so. David did a good job
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
He had a lot on his plate, so thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Councilor Lindsay.
Been waiting to say this for all of 2020, but I have nothing further to report, Mr. President.
Oh, jeez. You've already spilled it all out. Fantastic. I just have some brief comments that I'd like to say, but I'll let Gary go first.
Sure. Just very quickly, I want to just mention to the public that we may be in some challenges right now coming out of COVID over the next quarter, maybe a little further, maybe even well into second quarter, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a great future for our town and for all of us. And just try to remain positive. Try to help your neighbors to remain positive, literally. Socially distance yourself appropriately, but talk to your neighbors and talk to your family and others about just remaining positive. I know during the winter it's easy to get down because we don't have the opportunity to maybe go outside and do other things that we would do in warmer weather, but just please try to remain positive. Get involved in something either online or if you're able to go to a church that's open with do that as well, whatever it takes, but just try to stay positive because we're very close to coming out of this, and just encourage you all to do that. That's it.
Thank you, Gary. Just a wrap this up, I definitely want to say that 2020 was definitely a challenging year, especially as a new counselor to the position. And sometimes, we didn't get the jog, we had to run, and David was ahead of the charge on a lot of this, and I really appreciate the work that he did through that process. Also, I'm really impressed with the dedicated staff that this town has, and I think it's an unknown factor that's out there, how stuff gets done. And because we've got people that work all hours and basically get little recognition in terms of the department heads that are there. I can't say enough for Norm and Luke and the work that they do and unheralded down there. And besides our public safety that's leading the charge, we've got a great group of people out there. But I also want to mention that on one note, on January 6th, the town council made a decision to part ways with Carlos Mays as our town manager. And, this was a tough decision. And it's always a tough decision when you got to part your ways with an employee that you hire. And we don't take it lightly. It was a decision that was made over several months. But this job is a very demanding job as town manager. And I think Jacob knows that the first way. He still has the scars to prove it. But I think it's one of those jobs that is never ending. And, you think that, 8 hours, no way. You almost double that time. And there's never a time off. And even in the public, you're always performing that task. And as a council, we decided that it was best that we do part ways with Carlos. And I wish him the best moving forward at this time. But again, I think that our town managers in the short term, along with the backing of the town council, will be picking up the slack and we'll be moving forward. And then I think as we come out of COVID, hopefully by mid-year, we'll have a better direction. And financially, keeping this town fiscally sound is of utmost prominent to this town council and the town as a whole. And we appreciate everybody's time that we put in. So that's all I have to say. And if there's no other discussion, I want to adjourn this meeting at 7:34. Thank you very much.